Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we're returning to Rule the Waves 2, where we are playing as the US. We've just come out of a war against Germany that was actually largely inconclusive. We did win, but we weren't really sufficiently strong enough to take any of their land. So here we are. Tensions with Japan are rising, so that is very nice. We have built a couple of ships. We are putting a couple of them in reserve. Most importantly, ships and service, I should sort that by battleship, yeah, there we go. Most importantly, we do have four relatively modern battleships, the Arizona and California classes. I did went ahead and rename one of them to Alabama, so both of these have an A, and then the Colorado is now a free name here for this California class battleship, which is actually merely battle cruiser, I would argue, but nevertheless, that's the situation right now. We do have a couple of carriers. I did send one of them, the Montana, into the reserve fleet simply because it's a relatively old ship. It's a converted ship. It only has 30. It only carries 30 aircraft, so it's not that significant. Also send all of these corvettes into mothballed stations, so that's going to be alright. We should probably send a couple of our destroyers, especially the ones with the cramped accommodation. These guys here. I think we can. Oh no, you're already mothballed. That's fine then, and then let's take these three. You also have cramped accommodation, and we are gonna put you into the reserve fleet. And that's alright, so we are saving some money on that, and that's okay. And I think we can take the next turn over here, see what we're doing. Well on the way to non-flammable materials. Increases aircraft capacity of carriers. That's extremely nice, so that is indeed very lovely. I think we can take another turn, just want to show that we're not making losing any money. Ooh, and here we are. Try to explain budget but minus prestige. Not comment or agree wholeheartedly. Of course we're going to agree, because I want to get in a war against actually the British. That would be very great. Non-flammable materials, gradual damage improvement. That is nice to see. Britain increasing here, and we are now making some money, so that's good. Even though we are building 10 destroyers and one of the California class battleships, most of this stuff is going to be ready in about a year. So what we actually should do is modernize a couple of our things, and in particular the light cruisers. So this modern light cruisers here from 1925, they're about 5 years old now. I think they deserve a little bit of a refit, so let's open this design for rebuild. And in particular what I would like to do, let's look at the costs over here. So I would actually like to get directors and dual purpose guns for our secondaries. We only have 8 of those, but that will be 8 heavy AA guns. I also think an AA director for you would be very nice, and potentially we'd want to have an advanced director. So all of that is not too expensive, about 2 million, but I do wonder what happens when we upgrade this here to better guns. It's not actually that much of a change, so I would very much like to see this. We are a little bit over the weight budget, so that's okay. We don't have any torpedo defenses on these guys. Let's drop one of our mines, and really? Did that just change it to an extraordinary different amount? Now it was... wait a minute. So sometimes it's a little bit weird. So now it's 900,000. If we go up with the gun quality, it's only 1 million. Okay, that's fine. If we go for advanced director, now it's suddenly expensive. And even if we go back, that does change things. This is weird. Advanced director is expensive, but too much. 73, I think it was. So I'm fine with 2 million. I think it's actually the upgrade of the guns, but apparently we can trick it, which is always a little bit weird. But nevertheless, I think this would be good, so let's save that. That's okay. Do we want to get the rebuild dialogue? See, but now costs are again at 5 million. So I think that's due to the upgrade of the guns. If we do not upgrade the guns, let's actually compare the gun data here. So at a range of 13,000, we would still be able to penetrate 2 inches of belt armor. If we upgrade this, yes, would go up to 14,000, but we'd also get a lot more deck penetrating capabilities. would be 5 million. That's about a sixth of the total costs. Well, I'm not too sure about this. What happens if we, just not do this, but get you advanced directors, get you dual purpose director guns, get you AA director, and get you down to 73 over here. That should be fine, yes, and yeah, let's override this. And now it would be only 2 million. Yeah, you know what, I think better guns would be nice, but they are not crucial, so let's simply upgrade all of these ships to better directors and better AA and all of that, so that will be very useful, I believe. Good, now we are losing some money, but it won't take too long. This is basically 3 months, so that should be alright. Next turn. Having an airbase in Guam seems to be very good. Submarine effectiveness doesn't care. I don't care about that. I don't really care about this. So let's build up the airbase in Guam. I think we'd want to add an air unit of, let's call it 6 fighters. I think they're not that useful in this little small numbers, but it should be alright. And then what we can do is do flying boats. Let's say 4 of these. And then we are going to add an... Wait, what? No. Change number. 6. Change number. 4. Add air unit. And what we're going to pick is medium bombers. And that's alright. Good. So, medium bombers I think are very good for these long range things. Do we want to sell... No. We do not want to sell to the Soviets. They're communist. Better stuff. That's okay, but not critical. Reconstruction finishing up, that's nice to see. Battleship scare that the rising threat of Japan pursues Parliament to authorize increased funding. That's of course very nice to see. Do we want to get another DD Flosser class in 14 months? Yeah, sure. I would like more destroyers. Don't care about the name really. What? During training exercises, an unidentified submarine has torpedoed and sank our ship Michigan. These are unfortunately no clues who's behind this. Our light carrier Michigan has been lost. That's an extremely bad loss. So we are gonna say that was certainly Japan. I think that's fitting. Great Britain has stolen something. No. We are gonna protest against that, and war has broken out. That's actually surprisingly fast. And here we are with the first enemy raid on the Philippines. We are going to ask our aircraft to attack enemy ships in general. So here we are, we have a single light cruiser, the Crescent, but it should be upgraded, so that's nice to see. And we are close to our own bases. It is very close to early night though, so let's see what's going to happen here. Can we actually go to max speed? Yeah, we can. So we are already flexible to change things up. And we do have range selected. I should potentially have had a look at the aircraft situation, but you know, ground bases are controlled by the AI anyway, so that's going to be alright. Let's go to very fast here and sort of go towards the what? Oh, we have a merchant over here. One of ours, it appears. Yeah, but the vision range is just horrible. We should actually go to vision range during night at least. Okay. So did we get any reports at any point? I don't think so. We should actually have a look at the recon situation. So yeah, I think that's actually okay. Fine. Right, let's start with timing over here. At least the weather has gotten a little bit better, although it's still night. So we are unlikely to get a good engagement over here. I mean, if we do meet a battleship at night at this distance, I'm not going to complain because we're probably going to be able to torpedo it. But yeah, until then, I kind of doubt whether we are going to see too much over here. Can I go to Ultra? Yes, I can. We might see the next morning appear, and that wouldn't be bad because at Manila we do have quite a bit of air bases, so unknown ship sighted. Here we go, so we are actually engaging the enemy over here, potentially. Well, I do think it's the enemy. We don't know anything about it. We are at max speed, so that's okay. go close in a little bit. I'm kind of doubtful whether they do have torpedoes. So I do want to zigzag a little bit over here. Stop! Stop! Who was that? It seemed to be a very fast ship, so probably a light ship as well. But I do think our light ships are a little bit better than the Japanese ones. I would at least hope so. And it appears we lost it. Really? No one here? Game speed is down to normal. Let's go to faster. I do really wonder whether there's any enemy over here. Okay, so no one over there. No one over here. Let's try to get into this bait. I think sometimes ships tend to get stuck on whatever's in their way. No, not really. No one here. That's okay. And here's daylight, so let's stop. Actually look at the situation in terms of our gun range. Why are you doing this? Have we gotten any reports yet? No, we have not. Okay, let's get down here. Okay. Really uneventful turn. They had one light cruiser. And we lost one thing, so still it's a minor victory for us. Okay. I'm gonna call that basically undecided event. Okay. Right, so let's take stock of the situation. So overall the almanac does tell us that in terms of battleships we do outnumber the Japanese, but their battleships, well, they do have two modern ones, the Hitsen and the Iki. Both of them have fairly good guns at 16-inch guns, 10 of those. Pretty good armor, but extremely low speed. On the other hand, they do have a battlecruiser with extremely high speed, but not so good guns. Only 6 16-inch guns. Okay, they are building a heavy cruiser, and that might be a problem because we have scrapped all of our battlecruisers and heavy cruisers, and we might actually get into their... What's this? Akagi? You're building that now? Okay. You have a lot of submarines. Alright, okay, let's get ahead here and ask all of our corvettes to be back to the active fleet. And you know what, we can actually tell you to do trade protection. Do we want to ask all of you to do trade protection? Let's take like 5 guys off. How many actually do we need? We need 21 ships. So, trade protection? 17 ships. 4 more ships. Trade protection, there we go. And the rest we're gonna leave off of trade protection just so that they can recover some morale. In terms of enemy presence, we do see quite a couple of Japanese in the northern Pacific and in the Southeast Asia, and of course in northern Asia. Nowhere else really though. A single destroyer in the Pacific. Yeah, the rest is okay. Good. Right, then let's think about this. So all of these guys are ready. You guys are pretty much actually our current fleet destroyers, right? So let's actually get you towards the west coast first. Yeah, we're going to gather all of our ships on the west coast first, including the Arizona and California. Ooh, the Arizona. I would love to rebuild you because you don't have any AA. And I think you do deserve a little bit of AA. And potentially we should get your secondary guns to be dual purpose. I think exchanging these guns for better quality ones is not really in the cards right now. You only have 15 caliber guns. Let's clear all of these torpedo mounts. I hate torpedo mounts on my ships. And you should get advanced directors. It's going to be fairly quick, only 4 months. And I think it's going to make you a much better ship in terms of naval capacity. 70? We don't really have a way to do all of this. unfortunately. I do want all of these to be dual purpose. And I think 2 AA directors are going to be the minimum, so let's simply dial down on the weight over here. 56 light guns, it's still worthwhile, so that's okay. Yeah, let's rebuild this. 5 million, that's fine. I think I can live with that. Rebuild. There we go. Right, but that does mean all of these California class ships should also be definitively moved towards the west coast. That's alright. And then we do have quite a couple of mothballed ships over here. We're going to put you towards the active fleet. That's alright. And then in terms of our other ships over here, so all of you are cramped accommodation. I still, you know what, we're going to ask you to be on active. Well, first of all, mobilization, yes, we want everyone mobilized. That does cost us quite a bit of money. We are losing money now, but it shouldn't be too bad actually. Right, and you all want trade protection still, that's okay. You guys cramped accommodation. You guys cramped accommodation, that's fine. We are going to keep you all as is. And then what we have got are the carriers. So the Saratoga, the Montana. You guys all move towards the west coast. That's alright. Now what else have we got? We've got the west coast, we've also got, well, we will probably need to advance here anyway, but somewhat uniformly from the west coast, so that's going to be alright. Okay, and then there are these light cruisers. Of course, you also are going to go to the west coast. Yes, and thank you. We have our colonial ships, that's those guys. That is fine, I think. You have cramped accommodation. I don't really want to move you anywhere. You guys do not, so I think you will be fine to move. You're on the west coast anyway, so that's nice to see. And then, well, what do we think about the Delaware and New Jersey class? I think they're actually the same. We're going to keep you on the east coast for now. And yeah, you need to work up your crew quality anyway, so that should be okay. Good, so that does leave us with, I think, the question about the light carriers. And again, we are going to move you towards where the trouble is, so the west coast, that's fine. Ships under construction, all of you should be pretty much be fine. The Colorado, can we accelerate construction? We could. It would shave off 2 months. I don't think that's going to be fast enough, so I think we'll just keep as is. Yeah. Yeah, all of this is fine. Anti-submarine warfare duty is fine. So yeah, next turn. We are losing some points because they are Portland. Nope. Because they are around there. 1 merchant ship sunk. So all in all, some lost points for us, but it's not too bad. Yeah, and we are getting some funding. And potentially a lot of you guys should be now in the Caribbean. Yeah, you are, so you're moving up towards the west coast. That's nice to see. Next turn, ooh, 22 ships are required. Not sure why there was a change over there. But yeah, let's of course send you towards trade protection as well. Yeah, and now we have 22. On the way to understand stuff. Fine, no big changes here. Yeah, let's look at things. So we have got a lot of troops on, or ships on the west coast. Apparently, the Japanese do have a battleship, a light cruiser, 2 destroyers. Are they sailing around? I do wonder. Right, so no Japanese possessions here. Well, or are there? Where do you belong, Tarawa? I think you're probably in the South Pacific. Marshall Islands. Not sure where you are. Okay, but I do think we are probably going to head towards Southeast Asia. Also going to try to take the Japanese out of here in the Northern Pacific. A single destroyer over here. Maybe move into the Central Pacific in force. Split our forces between these 2 areas. Yeah, split our forces between these two areas, move one down here. One will probably then split up again, so yeah, okay, that does work for me. Let's have a look at our strongest assets. We have got 2 battleships. Well, we can't really split 2 battleships. That'd be too small, I believe. Okay, so we're just going to sell you all towards Southeast Asia. I think that's going to be okay. So, 2 battleships. Our carriers should certainly come along. Maybe our light carriers will stay behind for a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light cruisers. That's alright. And then our destroyers, the hull class, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's okay. And all of you guys, I would kindly ask to move towards Southeast Asia. Southern Africa? No. Where is it? Southeast Asia, there we go. Fine. Right, and then we've got these 2 guys in the Caribbean. You don't really need to be here. Let's move you towards the West Coast as well. That does leave a couple of ships on the West Coast still. Most importantly, these light carriers. You know what? Let's move the light carriers back towards the East Coast, where currently our main battleships are training up their crew quality after being pulled out of mothballed situation. That should be okay. Yeah, I'm happy with this result. And then what's left on the West Coast are a couple of destroyers and all of that, so that should be okay. And I think these guys are coming around over here to intercept or to go out to our army offensive. Yeah, you know what, let's actually give the army a little bit of money. Enemy, we've lost some things. That's no good. Italy, Japan has laid down an AMC. Okay, that's interesting to know. Right, and where are they? Yeah, see, they are coming around over here. I think next term they will be in the Caribbean. And then on the East Coast, probably. They might stick to the Caribbean as well. Ships in service, you have now fair crew quality. And you know what? That does mean to me that we can send these guys towards the Caribbean. And we are going to ask the light cruisers to stay in the Caribbean. Move ship, and I would like to cancel moved orders. Yes, does that work? No, that does not work. Okay, so let's move ships. How does this work exactly? Yeah, okay, perfect. Now you stay in the Caribbean. Good. Who else have we got on the East Coast? Oh, no, you're on the West Coast. Okay, that's all right then. East Coast, a couple of light cruisers. You are cramped accommodation, but you know what? I think it's fine if we move you towards the Caribbean, intercept these Japanese ships that are over there. Now we've got a couple of destroyers. Potentially we should move them as well. You guys move towards the Caribbean, please, and thank you. That should be okay. And everyone else is still moving somewhere over here. Really, we're taking this route. Interesting enough. So what's the Japanese have 5 battleships, 1 battle cruiser, 3 light cruisers, a light carrier, 5 destroyers. We have got 2 battleships, 5 light cruisers, 3 carriers over base cap. Yeah. So our forces are actually not really a good match for them. We are shy a couple of battleships still, but we do have carriers, so that's going to be extremely interesting to see whether that is going to be a good match. Actually, that's going to be extremely interesting. Alabama, Arizona is going to finish next month. Arizona, yeah, still next month. No way around that. Yeah, we should be alright. Next turn. Nope. Let's actually send a couple of further ships to trade protection. There we go. and maybe pull off 2 of you guys towards active fleet so you can also regain some training. A couple of our ships here are suffering a little bit of damage, even the Langley, but these troubles should not be lasting too long. I think we have enough base capacity in this area here to basically take on everyone. Reconstruction finished, that's nice to see. We've sunk a submarine, that's nice. 3 ships sunk on the west coast. South American east coast and Africa. Interestingly enough, no battle requests so far. Well, except for that one engagement. Okay, now over here I think we are over base cap at 85. Let's review our bases. I would have thought that not Caribbean, sorry, Southeast Asia, Guam, Philippines, 60. Let's expand the base. No, sorry, not the naval base over here. Yeah, we should have fought that. It's going to be alright. Okay, and over here we have a couple of light cruiser. Japan has a single light cruiser. We should potentially ask our ships over there, the west coast light cruisers. Light cruisers on the west coast. You guys, can you actually do trade protection? That would be lovely. Yeah. We also have a destroyer. We have a light cruiser here in the Central Pacific. Is that one of our... yeah, that's one of our trade protection ships. Now the Japanese are here in force in the Caribbean. I do wonder whether they are sailing onwards or whether they want to stay over here. I think potentially they will be sailing onwards. So let's actually take everyone in the Caribbean and bring you home towards the east coast. It would be more damaging if they have superiority on the east coast. And you know what? What we can actually do now is ask for invasion targets. And let's actually display range over here. So I think from Guam we should be able to go for the Marianas and declare that as an invasion target. We should actually be able to take Formosa as well from the Philippines. But let's start over here. Arizona has finished heavy construction, reduces torpedo mount weight. That's nice to see actually. A medium bomber. So our current medium bomber is this Republic Seagull B. This guy does have better speed, not better range though. Although on heavy load it's nearly the same. Worse firepower, worse toughness. Carries 2 heavy bombs. And it can actually carry torpedoes. So yes, I do think this is superior. Okay, anti-submarine warfare duty costs costs? What's that? 1921? Not sure. Right. And the Japanese are selling back over here, so they have been withdrawing their forces. Still carrying a destroyer over here, but they are reinforcing this position, and strongly so. 2 more battleships than we have and a battle cruiser. Really need to be careful with this. Right, so what we really should do is take our Arizona class ships, the ones that were just rebuilt, along with a couple of good other ships that are acting as escorts. Do we have anyone? I think only these barricades. Ooh, no, sorry, that's not what I meant. I think only these guys down here. All of these guys are pretty irrelevant. Yeah. A lot of ships are struggling actually. Okay. Nevertheless, 2 battleships, a couple of light cruisers, that's fine. What? Whoa, what's going on? Okay, you guys, let's move ship. What's going on? Okay, let's move you towards the west coast first. But yeah, you are moving, so that's okay. Right, and then what we can do is, I think we set all of these ships. Yeah. And move you towards the west coast. That's alright, you are moving. A couple of guys are suffering some damage. It's not too serious yet, and I think all in all we should be more or less alright over here. Over base cap at 81, and our base cap is actually what? I would think it's 100. I would actually think it's 104. Weird. No, 116 actually. Weird. That being said, I think this is a very good place to put in a cut, and next time we're probably going to see a big battleship battle down here in Southeast Asia, probably supported by aircraft. So our 3 aircraft carriers, whereas their 2 battleships, 6 aircraft, sorry, our 2 battleships and 3 carriers against their 5 heavy ships and 2 light aircraft carriers. Very much looking forward to that. See you next time, guys. Bye bye.